Still to my brother, what's happening?
Hey, fantasy, it's session. We talking touchdowns, receptions, interceptions. They got a ban the kicker, we need that correction. Swap them out, we flexing. How many of y'all you collect? We trying to get that winning record. Fantasy, it's session.
Yeah.
Fantasy in session. Yeah.
What it is, hope is what it should be. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy in Session, the podcast. Today is December the 17th, and the boys are back in town for part 2 of that playoff week 1 breakdown. What it is, how you feeling, my boy? Boy, Jabbar in the bed now. What you got going on?
Son drop. We here, we live. You know, we couldn't leave y'all out there without a pod to kick it to, man, because it's rough out there right now, man. It is rough, and it's like. And this is a good year for me. I done made it to a lot of playoffs, and it's like, bruh, I'm just waiting for the news to hit for my player to be like, he on IR or he on the vid list. It's
every time a sleeper update goes off, baby, like hold your breath. And I keep getting hit by it. We can go ahead and start with the news then, since we already on it. DK Metcalf full practice.
Let's go.
Elijah Mitchell will be held out this week. Jalen Hurts expected to play. Zach Ertz is questionable, but he's expected to play. Aaron Jones is clear of knee injury. He's expected to play. Marquise Brown is limited at practice today, but he might play. Swift is out on Sunday. That sucks. Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, speaking of, they moved 2 games to Sunday. I mean, to Tuesday.
From set, yeah. To Tuesday.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a crazy week 1 of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be drug out. So it's gonna be a lot of people on Tuesday holding their breath. They
chilling, bro.
Washington at Philly on to Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Seattle play the Rams at 7 p.m.
Both games at 7 p.m.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was lame. Why they do that? But so both games you're gonna have to goddamn, it's fantasy relevant players in both. We'll get to those matchups this episode. Odell Beckham is affected by that Tuesday. He tested negative, so he might be able to play Tuesday. Things are looking like.
Bro, I got me some Van Jefferson shares, and I was like, bro, he about to eat, and now he's still gonna do a little something, but gotta knock him down.
Let's see. I think that is it as far as big news. I don't see anything else. You got anything else? Oh, Damian Harris is out Saturday. That sucks. And Miles Sanders will play on Saturday, and Terry McLaurin is still questionable. And Fournette is playing.
And Edmonds and Connor, both of those guys supposed to be playing.
Lamar Jackson didn't practice.
Right, Lamar Jackson. I haven't heard anything of Darrell Henderson. This situation is getting.
He's on the IR.
Him and Jamal Williams, not Darrell Henderson on the vid list. Darrell for the running back for the Rams? Nah, my boy, he on the vid list. Him and Jamal Williams, but there haven't been no update or any really news about the guys getting off.
I thought they put him on IR.
So you just gotta watch out and hear about that for the Lions running back situation. If Jamal Williams is going to be activated and play, and for the Rams, man, if Darrell Henderson is playing, but the game is on Tuesday, so you got to have something. We got to hear something by Sunday, bro. This is getting ugly, bro.
Let me see about Darrell Henderson. Shout out to Matt Daddy Presents. How we feeling about AJ Green this week? I appreciate you for the support, bro. I like AJ Green, man. Carlos was talking about him. We about to probably get to him a little bit later in the episode, but I like AJ Green and Christian Kirk. I feel like they probably provide the safest floors because we know they're gonna have to throw the ball somewhere. And AJ Green, I mean,
I'm starting all on Kirk, AJ Green, and Zach Ertz. I'm starting all of them where I can.
I'm talking about Rondale Moore though. I think Rondale Moore is the odd man out this week.
The young buck.
Mm-hmm. But I do like AJ Green this week. We'll get to that game. I think that game is second. But I think that's all the news and notes I got. So without further ado, let's give an 8-second moment of silence out to all the fallen victims out there. I don't think it's anything pressing to give a moment of silence. Oh, let's give another moment of silence to was it Jalen Guyton? Was that the one?
Palmer. I think he's a tight end.
Yeah, Palmer.
I think he left the hospital. Don't quote me on that. I thought I read something about that. But yeah, we can put him in there too.
Yeah, for sure. It's Dolph, and we back, man. Let's get into it, man.
Playoffs, baby.
Playoffs, man. The only person that's winning the playoffs right now is Corona. Corona is the winner of playoffs, the Omarion version. Farm him, that's his name. Appreciate Carlos. Shout out to Carlos. He couldn't make it today, but here in the comments. That's crazy. We both don't know the name. But anyway, man, we're gonna start the week off. Start this episode off with the first game. I think that's me. The first game, we got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. It's a pick 'em over under 43 points. So we're going to start on the Tennessee side of the ball. I got the starts for Tennessee. Dante Foreman, he's been leading the backfield now. 109 yards on the ground against the Patriots. And he followed that up with a 15-touch, 62-yard performance against the Jags, where he found the end zone. It was a blowout, so he didn't really have to play as much. He doesn't seem like the guy as far as passing yards go. That seems like to be Jared McNichols' role. He's also healthy this week. The Steelers are allowing the most fantasy points to the running back position since week 10, and we just seen Dalvin Cook go crazy on them last week. So I like Dante Foreman this week as far as Tennessee starts, and that's the only like clear-cut start I got.
You don't think Hiller gonna get some money?
I mean, it's the playoffs, and if that's what you gotta put in your lineup, you have to. I think at that point, but I'm not forcing Hilliard in my lineup.
Because you got like the situation.
Because McNichols is back this week, and so I don't know where those.
I thought he was back last week too.
Well, he played last week. Let me see.
So I got a quick question then, because this is one of our leagues where we got this problem.
What's the question?
Is Hillard, or let me get to the league. Hillard or is it the Gridiron League? All right, Hillard or Craig Reynolds.
That's great. Probably Craig Reynolds, because he's going to lead the backfield. Maybe, I don't know. Is that what we're going through?
Before I had Hillard in there, it was Deandre Carter, the wide receiver for the Washington football team. So it's between Deandre Carter, Craig Reynolds, or Dontrell Hillard.
I might actually go Deandre Carter, man. He gets some kind of targets in there, especially if Terry McLaurin is like a maybe, and with that concussion, he might not play. So I can see Deandre Carter, because that Dontrell Hillard, that sounds like a setup. I don't know. As Los, if he's still listening in the comments.
He already said
Craig Reynolds.
I don't think Tyler Henry keep playing this week. Game moved to Tuesday. No longer play.
He got the COVID, so if he can test negative, he got till Tuesday.
Okay, it might be up, but yeah, I can't wait to Tuesday on that. So yeah, it's gonna be between Reynolds or Hilliard. I just switched Reynolds in for Hilliard, but I just had to get that. You can go ahead.
Some fringe players I got for Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill, he's been kind of shaky as of late. He hasn't had many passing catching options, so that could be another thing. He hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in the last 2 weeks. The rushing touchdowns has been saving him since week 9. He hasn't produced any, but he's been getting rushing touchdowns. That's been like giving him fantasy relevant days. He does get the Steelers this week, who've given up the 10th most fantasy points to the quarterback position per game since week 10. So that is a good matchup. I don't like him in single quarterback leagues, but in super flex leagues, I can see you could do worse. Julio Jones, I got him as a fringe player too. He did lead the team in targets in his first week back with 6, caught 4 for 33 yards. But they didn't have to do much because they blew the Jags out. The Steelers are very vulnerable to wide receivers. As of late, 21st, ranked 21st in fantasy points given up to the wide receiver, so they are at the back end of the NFL. And he does have a good matchup against Sutton this week, who's giving up a 68% catch rate. That's all I got for that side of the ball.
Okay.
On the other side of the ball, I got start Big Ben. He's one of my starts of the week. Since week 11, he has been the QB6, 5th in yards and 3rd in touchdowns, and he's only thrown the ball less than 40 times once in that span. And the Titans are ranked 20th in fantasy points given up to the quarterback position in week 10. So if you're looking for a streamer, I think Big Ben is one at home this week. Naji Harris, because Naji Harris probably doesn't have the game that you expect him to have. Tennessee is allowing the 5th fewest fantasy points to the running back over the last 5 weeks. They've allowed a combined 202 yards and only 2 touchdowns in 5 weeks. So that is not good news for Naji Harris, but you still start him. Of course, you just temper your expectations. Of course, you start Deontay, Chase Claypool, even though he did some dumb shit last week, he's still getting the volume.
A lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, he's wild. He's now had at least 50 yards in the last 4 games, and he's seen less than 8 targets only once in that span. So I do like him this week. The matchup isn't great, but I do think they're gonna throw the ball. And Firemouth, I think you can start him also, tied second in the league among tight ends with touchdowns since week 10, and he only has 2 fewer targets than Travis Kelce in that span also. So I do like him too. That
not
is all
anymore
I got.
after last night.
I think that's even with last night. I think that might even be with last night.
Can't be. He went ham last night.
Since week 10 though, because he had 2 of those weeks where he only had like 2-3 targets each week, some shit like that. Like the last 2 weeks, me and Los talked about it last night.
Okay, true.
But yeah, that's all I got from that game. Unless you got anything else.
Sound good to me, boy.
All right, on to the next game. We got the Arizona Cardinals, I believe. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals at Detroit. The Cardinals 13.5 point favorites, 47.5 point over under. Of course, you're starting Kyler Murray and James Conner. He practiced today, so of course you're starting him. As far as the wide receivers go, we touched on this a little bit before, but with DeAndre Hopkins going out, AJ Green is the one that everybody's looking to. He saw 10 targets and caught 7 of them for 102 yards. And as a team, Detroit has given up last 5 weeks the 19th most fantasy points to wide receivers. So I could see AJ Green being the guy. And even when DeAndre Hopkins was there, he wasn't really the guy. Green has run 88% of his route from the right side of the field. So his primary matchup would be Roby Coleman, who PFF has graded as a 49 and is giving up a 67% catch rate. So the matchup is good for him. He leads the team in red zone targets, and he's also had 3 end zone targets. Yeah, I like it. Probably like wide receiver, like back end wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 this week.
I think Kirk has more upside. Just watching the game, he don't have the juice to make the play after the catch like he used to. So AJ Green is just going to be mostly limited to yards unless he gets some red zone targets. But yeah, to the moon for Kirk.
I like Kirk.
I like Zach Ertz too, and I think this boosts the running back situation too. They should get more usage out of those 2 guys back there, especially with Connor banged up. So there's going to be a lot of people play from this team. And, I
think you start everybody that you can except Rondale Moore at this point.
Yeah, he's really boom or bust. You don't want those problems in the playoffs.
For sure. On the other side of the ball, there's really nobody to start. Swift is out. Hawkinson is out for the year. Carlos likes Craig Reynolds. He's the next man up. He led the team last week in carries. And with 11, he had 83 yards. He also led the running backs in routes and caught both of his targets. Cardinals are heavy favorites, so they should be throwing a lot. So he could be getting a lot of passes with nobody to really throw to, and they throw to the running backs in that offense. So I can see it. I can see it.
You're in a pinch. A lot of people are in a pinch, man. So you're gonna be starting. It's gonna be a lot of people starting some Hillards, Jeffrey Wilson Jr., Craig Reynolds. So it's ugly out there. So yeah.
I'm starting DJ Johnson.
Next play. Right.
Royce
See what I'm saying?
Freeman.
Right. You feel me?
Ahmad Ross St. Brown has seen 12 targets in each of the last 2 weeks. He's the clear option for golf now. So I should think he keeps up that volume. He'll see Murphy Jr. in the slot, though. He's the highest graded cornerback for the Cardinals, and PFF has him graded as a 70. So I do think the matchup is a little concerning, but the volume should be there to keep him afloat. If you just have to play him, if you played him last week, I mean, you probably have to play him this week. So if you have been playing them, just hope that PPR those targets give them a good ceiling. You got anything else?
That's about it, man. Basically, if you start anybody's from the Lions, man, you're in a bad position. For real. So don't hope for too much from those guys.
Shit, we in a bad position because we about to start Craig Reynolds.
Facts.
On to the next game, we got Carolina at 10.5 point favorite, Buffalo over under 44.5 points. Josh Allen is going to be playing the Carolina Panthers, who are apparently going with a 2 quarterback system. That's kind of crazy. How you feel about that game?
They go into a quarterback 2 system until PJ Walker throws an interception, then they go back to Cam. But
crazy.
Yeah, man, I would stay away from this situation. Buffalo is allowing the points to quarterback, so sit both. Herbert is getting the early down work, but not much in the passing game. With Amir Abdul still in receptions and Cam taking goal line carries, Herbert is a desperate flex play in a horrible offense with a horrible matchup. DJ Moore, I haven't heard if he's a full go yet. He was battling some injuries throughout this week, but even if he is a full go, he's a flex play at the most against the Bills, who are allowing the least points to wide receivers. And he's heavily involved in the passing game, seeing around 10 targets in the last 2 games. So, you can't sit him unless you got a better player with a matchup. But I highly doubt it. But just throw him out there, and hopefully you get some flex plays. Anderson, last week, he hauled in 7 of his 12 targets for 84 yards and a touchdown. This is the first time all year Anderson caught more than 5 targets or went over 46 yards. He could be rostered, but I definitely don't trust him this week against the Bills. He's a desperate boom or bust play. On to the other side, Josh Allen, he's a stud quarterback, 2 on the year. Of course, you start him. Diggs is a must start each week. He's a wide receiver 10 on the year. He may be shadowed by Stephon Gilmore, but nevertheless, you starting that guy. The Panthers are allowing the 7 field yards to wide receiver, but Beasley got back on track last week, looking like himself. He was a productive flex play, scoring at least he should score at least 10 points this week, even with the Panthers allowing 7 fewest points. Emanuel Sanders looking like he's a no-go with the knee injury. So that's why I have next up. Davis is a French flex play. He's been playing well lately. He's been on the radar for Josh Allen. We definitely don't know what the usage breakdown. Well, we definitely do. They came out and said Davis is starting as wide receiver 2 opposite of Diggs. So, yeah, man.
What about Dawson Knox?
It's a French flex play for Davis, but he's bro, every week, like for the past 2-3 weeks, he's been finding the end zone. He's been finding 4 or 5 targets and being used. So, yeah, man, I think you can start him up, man. Between him and Beasley, they're going to get some flex numbers. They do not run the football. So, it's targets out there to be had. And I don't mind Beasley or Davis in your flex position. I'm more stronger on Beasley, and then Davis is a flex. It's a fringe flex play, but a strong fringe flex play to me. Dawson Knox, who you asked about, he has scored 7 touchdowns this year, while scoring at least 11 points in 6 of his 10 games he's played in. He's Allen's second favorite targets. He has a start this week, even though the Panthers are middle of the pack, 2 tight ends. You still start this guy. He's been productive, and he's been living in the He's been living in the red zone. So been living in the end zone. So yeah, you gotta love your Knox shares right now.
Yeah, I agree. I like Gabriel Davis this week. I think I could play him. The matchup isn't good either way, but
they just throw the ball so much, like it's going to.
Yeah, they throw the ball so much. Yeah,
especially they try to scheme out a Stephon Diggs, like what I'm saying. So yeah,
and he played the most snaps he played all year.
And it's on a team that I could see if they ran the football. If they ran the football and used the running backs, I would be worried. I'd be like, okay, some of that usage may go to the running backs. But they don't use the running backs at all, so I kind of feel more confident about the pass catchers.
Yeah, I like it. On to the next game, we got Cincinnati at Denver. Cincinnati 1.5 point favorites with a 44-point over/under. Cincinnati obviously starts, of course. You got Mixon, Chase, and Higgins.
Money Joe, that's a new name, bro. Not Joe Mixon, Money Joe. Everybody disrespecting him now. He coming through that Money Joe. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect. Looking at
hey, Joe Byron, let me take you out to dinner, Joe Byron. What's up, baby?
Hey, you gotta stay on TikTok, man.
Hey, Joe Byron, what's up, baby? Take you out to dinner.
Hey, yo.
That shit is hilarious. Let's see. Carlos has Tyler Boyd as a sit. He'll see the lowest grade corner on the team, Kyle Fuller, but he's still not trusting him this week. Over the last 5 games, Boyd has just had 14% of the target share, and he's averaging 43 yards and has 0 touchdowns in that span. Sitting him with the playoffs on the line, I have to start him.
Yeah.
I don't have many options because Tyler Lockett. I don't think I can wait till Tuesday. See, that's a limit a lot of people have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like they have Tuesday players, but like, do you wait? Especially if your Tuesday player has already been diagnosed with COVID, do you wait and see like if he's going to come back?
No. I mean, I think Boyd is okay flex play, fringe flex play. He's been doing decent the past 2 weeks, but I'm not in love with Boyd. But if you're in a pinch, at least you know Boyd is going to get you 4 points, unlike some players. So
that's if you're depending on 4 points, it's probably pretty gross.
Yeah,
man.
He doesn't have a high ceiling, bro. 10 points. That's all you want from Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, if he's starting, you're not. Your team shouldn't be resting on Tyler Boyd. So I feel if you can sit Tyler Boyd, go ahead and sit him. Some fringe players, Joe Mixon. He's solid in superflex leagues, just not confident in 1 QB leagues.
No, you mean Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. That's what, my bad. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you started Mixon for sure.
Last week, the first week he scored 20 plus since week 7. It was also his first multi-touchdown game since week 8, and the Broncos are middle of the road against quarterbacks over the last 5 weeks. I don't know if he's doing it. I think you started him in Superflex League.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you might even start him in one QB league.
It's according to who you have, because if you got Kirk Cousins, somebody like Kirk Cousins, you will probably start Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow this week. So it's according
Joe Burrow or Teddy Bridgewater.
Joe Burrow for sure, but that's about it. The closer you can get, it's like a Kirk Cousins swap out, and that's what I meant with it. In one quarterback league, you're probably going to start him unless you got a nice bench. So, yeah, man. I'm just hoping Burrow can give me 18 points per week. It looks like he's having a horrible game, then just come out like fourth quarter into third quarter, and next thing you know, you got 20 points. So, yeah, man, they're gonna let Burrow throw the football, and that's what I enjoy watching him do. And he's gonna put up decent points, but yeah, he's not a top 5, top 7 quarterback. He's better looked at as quarterback 2 this week. A top quarterback 2.
On the other side of the ball, some fringe players. We got the Broncos running backs. They were a few who thought Williams carved out a larger role after this performance against Kansas City, but of course we saw Melvin Gordon come back and outsnap him the next week after that. Gordon has averaged 16 opportunities to Williams 15, so they're doing the same thing. With them both running the ball so much, they both play this week. The matchup isn't too good against the Cincinnati Bengals. Over the last 5 weeks, the Bengals are allowing the 3rd fewest fantasy points to the running back position, and they've only allowed just 61 yards per game and just 1 touchdown in that same span in the 5 games. So they're both flexes. It's just the running back positions is a scary place. So you don't really have no choice. Somebody else, a fringe play is Noah Fant. The matchup against the Bengals, who are allowing the most points to the tight end position over the last 5 weeks, should make him a must start. But like the rest of the wide receivers, he's just not getting a lot of volume, only averaging 4 targets since week 8. And he's the tight end 34 and is averaging 5.5 points in that span. To make matters worse, Albert O is splitting snaps with him since week 8. Fant is averaging 23 routes ran per game to Albert O's 14. Albert O has more yards than him and only has 1 touchdown between the two of that span. So
I ain't starting nobody on that team but the running backs. Yeah. We done seen what the wide receivers can do for you for the past 4 weeks, ever since Judy been back. And the only thing I trust is the running backs to put up flex numbers and have a ceiling of RB1 numbers. So that's where I'm at with it in the playoffs. You seen my team where I got Judy and Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton is on my bench. I can't take no more zeros from him. After that last 0 game, I was over that shit.
Look, I traded all my picks to get help.
It's really ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, the Falcons keeping on winning. That's ridiculous. We're trying to get a high draft pick. I don't know if they know. The Falcons play the San Francisco 49ers.
We can still make the playoffs, bro. So
I know that's crazy. Wow. Luckily, the San Francisco is 9.5 point favorites with an over under 46.5. Atlanta starts, of course, he's starting Cordell Patterson. He's been getting the most production via the running back as of late. He only had 13 targets over the last 3 games, catching 7 of them for 46 yards and hasn't had a touchdown. San Francisco has been middle of the road, allowing fantasy points to the running back position. Since week 10, they ranked 19th. San Francisco is also giving up the 7th most targets out of the backfield, though, in that same span with 36 of them. So this could be a bounce back week for Cordell Patterson through the air. Russell Gage, one of my early season picks. Of course, I didn't expect Calvin really not to be here. But
hey, I bet off, right? Yeah, I bet off. Russell Gage and Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel ain't played number like 4%, 20%.
Hey, points per game, bro. That sound like a personal problem. He's still not getting targets. He playing this week?
No, not fully. He playing 20%. Like,
is he playing this week coming up though? So I'm saying if Terry McLaurin don't play, he should be playing.
He missed practice on this week, so they're probably just gonna keep him at 20%.
But that's his problem for not being healthy, bro. Russell Gage was hurt this year. He came back too. I'm saying, bro. Another productive week for him, a PPR week for him, of course. He's 9th in targets since week 11th. He's only found the end zone twice this season, so that's always hurts him. He doesn't have that touchdown deodorant like you would want him to have, but he is leading the team in targets, so that helps since week 11. And San Francisco has allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to the wide receiver position since week 10. So I like Russell Gage this week for a lot of fill-ins. Hopefully, if you pick them up on your waiver wire. Sitting Matt Ryan, he just hasn't done nothing in a long time to even think about. Some fringe players I got. If you're in the pinch, Mike Davis over the last 2 weeks, he's now had double-digit fantasy points. It's not been super fancy, and he's only scored 1 touchdown, but he did have 16 touches last week. He's only played less than 50% of the snaps twice this year. It's gross, but you could do worse, man. People starting Dontrell Hillard, so I mean,
he has been used in the passing game. That's pretty much helping him out for the past couple of weeks.
And Cordell Patterson has been like kind of gimpy over the last couple of games. Mike Davis Cordell Patterson didn't play the second half
out here, bro.
On Sunday, and Mike Davis finished the game. So
we talking about starting Mike Davis in the lineup. It's ugly out here, my boy.
Especially the COVID shit, man. Kyle Pitts, another week. Kyle Pitts getting a lot of targets. Just not finding the end zone. He got 6 targets last week, caught 5 of them for 61 yards. He's only had 1 touchdown all season, so it's just gross. The 49ers are allowing the fewest points to the tight end position over the last 10 weeks, and they've only allowed 1 touchdown during that span. So that's 5 games and only 1 touchdown to the tight end. So I don't see Kyle Pitts finding the end zone this week. Of course, he's still getting the target. So, I mean, you have to put him out there because there's not many other tight ends that you can play over him. At this point, you could probably play him over Noah Fant. I mean, it's gross, but you're gonna get what you get.
Playing him over Fant. You're definitely playing him over Fant. Yep, I agree.
On to the other side of the ball, some starts. I got Jimmy G. The Falcons are allowing the 3rd most fantasy points to the quarterback position since week 10. And he's also had multiple touchdown games now in 5 of the last 6 weeks. Superflex leagues, he's an easy start. I think he's a streaming candidate in 1QB leagues over a lot of the guys that we've mentioned earlier on this episode. Divo Samuel, of course, you're starting him. He's not been getting as many targets as we would like, just because he's been running the ball so much. But he's been efficient with the running and scoring touchdowns. But how long can he be that efficient with 4 touchdowns? I mean, to start him, but I just want him to get more targets. Is all I'm saying. I want him to go back to being a wide receiver. Really,
I think that should, once Elijah Mitchell back healthy, that should come. Mm-hmm. And I also think, last week was like his first week back or his second week back from the injury. So I thought, I just kind of felt like they were trying to ease him in. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to do too much. So I think things should get back to somewhat normal this week. Or is it another monster Kittle week, my boy?
Kittle practiced again. Of course, he was not practicing I think Thursday, but he did practice today. So Kittle looks like he's going to play. He had a monster week last week. Brandon Ayuk finally turned that corner, man. Better late than never. 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games and has had at least 50 yards in each game. Last week, he did see his first double-digit target game and scored a game-winning touchdown. The Falcons are allowing the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position over the last 4 weeks. So I like Brandon Ayuk. A fringe play I got is Jeff Wilson. He's expected to be the starter again with Elijah Mitchell being out. He came up with 13 touches last week, 56 yards. He's not used much in the receiving game. Hasty's got 3 targets. He's not really, I don't really trust him either. The Falcons are giving up the 20th most fantasy points to the running back position, though, since week 4. And they've allowed the 8th most receiving yards to running backs in that same span and around 40 yards a game. So if Jeffrey Wilson does start getting the targets, that'll be good. I think Gbo stays in that same role when Mitchell gets back. Yeah, that's the scary part too, bro. Because it looks good as long as Debo is scoring touchdowns, but if he's not scoring touchdowns, he's like just getting running back like runs. Is like, I think you're limited in his ceiling.
Hope not.
I hope not, man. I don't need that right now. I think that's it. That's all I got for that game.
I can dig it. But I like Jeffrey Wilson a little bit more, only because of matchup. He did dominate rushes, so I like that. Carlos got some more news. I heard Mitchell is in danger of missing week 16 as well, so this might be the Debo we see for the rest of the year.
Ooh, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's like something we should be like screaming for joy for, actually.
I mean, maybe, but it don't matter if Debo catching the ball or running the ball. He looked like Debo and doing Debo stuff and getting you money. So if he rushing the ball 8 times and he can get me 50 yards and also catch it 4 times and get me 30 yards and maybe a touchdown, you get money, bro.
That's right. I still like him though. It's still Debo. Yeah, that's all I got for that game. On to the next game. We got Green Bay at Baltimore, over under 44 points. Green Bay is 6-point favorites. We already talked about Lamar Jackson, man. If he doesn't play, a lot of things go bad. So how do you feel about this game now, like with Lamar Jackson up in the air?
With Lamar Jackson up in the air, man, and you could probably say they don't need to start him this week. I mean, it is a big game, but if they lose, they still in the playoff hunt. They still gonna have to play week 1 because only one team get the bye, and they obviously not gonna get the bye. So it's a possibility that they may sit the guy this week, and it's on to that guy Tyler Huntley. And I think you can throw him out there. He should have a safe floor. I know the first week he didn't come through, but he's going to have a safe rushing floor. And he looked better out there when he came in for Lamar. I know, game, and Green Bay will have a chance to, go the whole week and thinking that Huntley will play. But the Packers are allowing 13 fewest points to quarterbacks. But again, I said the rushing ability of Huntley should give him a decent floor. And output quarterbacks like Jared Goff, possibly, Trevor Lawrence, possibly, Derek Carr been playing shitty lately. So, yeah, man, In quarterback 2 league, see something to watch out for if you need a pinch. Look his way, but he's just a fringe quarterback 2 starter. He's not a much start. Devontae Freeman is still getting the bulk of the carries and targets out of the backfield. Even with the Packers allowing the 14 fewest points to running backs, you can start Freeman. He should be used a lot, especially with Lamar out, possibly. On to the wide receivers, Hollywood. Did he practice today?
He practiced in limited condition.
So it's possibly that he would be playing. But the Packers get Jair Alexander back this week, and they're allowing the 12 fewest points to wide receivers, and the Pro Bowl quarterback is possibly out here. So Brown is viewed as a flex play due to not scoring over 10 points since week 9, and the matchup and also the quarterback didn't really target him in the game. But on to Bateman. Bateman, especially if Huntley plays, I feel like you start Bateman. He looked great last year. Bateman was targeted a lot when Huntley came in, and it resulted in a lot of money for Bateman and people who had Bateman on their bench because you probably didn't start him. Therefore, I like Bateman as a flex play more than Hollywood. But yeah, I feel more confident about starting Bateman over Hollywood. I would try to stay away if I could, but Bateman is the guy, bro. Brown may be shadowed by Zaire Alexander, so I'm kind of a little worried about that. Mark Andrews, of course, you start him. You got anything on that situation about the wide receivers?
It's hard to not start Hollywood for me, but I feel like Bateman has showed that he is. But I feel like you got to start Hollywood too, just because of what that potential is there. I think you start. With Lamar, of course, but like without Lamar, it might be Bateman, like you said. He showed, but that could have been just because Hollywood was hurt, and I just don't know how much I trust any like. It's the playoffs, bro. I just don't know how much I can trust that backup quarterback, bro. He's like last week he did good, but that was against a Cleveland Browns team who had everybody affected by COVID. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, you gotta think about it. It's a lot of people out here with backup quarterback situation. Like at first, Washington, Heineke possibly wasn't playing, and then it's another backup quarterback I had in my mind probably wasn't playing. But yeah, so yeah.
Shout out. What's up, Joshua? Make sure you like and subscribe, bro, if you haven't already. Yo, what's up with DJ Moore, Ayuk, or Mooney this week? Pick one. I probably like Ayuk.
It's between Ayuk and Mooney.
Yeah.
Mooney should get more targets. Mooney has a decent matchup. Mooney is the number one receiving target on the team. So just because of that,
and Allen Robinson has COVID too.
Right. So
I'll probably go Mooney.
You got to go Mooney, and Ayuk is second. Ayuk is targets is increasing since Debo is not playing wide receiver as much, and he's been targeted in the red zone. So it's Mooney and then Ayuk for me, and so either one of them are not bad plays this week.
And Carlos said Mooney too.
Appreciate your question, Josh. Well, I got to go to the other side of football with Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's a must-start, of course. Aaron Jones, he's been cleared. He had a great game last week, but I think it's best if he's viewed as a flex play this week. The Ravens are allowing the third fewest points to running backs, and Jones has been splitting touches with A.J. Dillon close to 50-50. And if it wasn't for the touchdowns, Aaron Jones wouldn't be sitting this pretty right now. So therefore, I got Dillon as a fringe flex play this week. And if Lamar Jackson is not playing, Dillon can go to a flex play. He should be used more if Lamar is not playing because they probably can't keep up with Green Bay because Green Bay does have a decent defense. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. If Lamar's not playing, I like Dillon a little bit more. Of course, you're starting Devontae Adams, man. He is a monster. Lazard had a huge week, but we cannot trust that guy. He's boom or bust player, even with the Ravens aligned the 13th most points to wide receivers. So just take that in mind as you start him. He's been boom and bust all week. He does have a nice matchup, but he hasn't been consistent all year, and we basically plan with fire start him. I feel more comfortable starting Gabriel Davis in his match in a bad matchup than starting Lazard in a good matchup. We just don't know. That's pretty much it with that game.
Shit, I'm even starting Brandon Bolden in a lot of places too.
It's ugly. Yeah. I'm in between. I got like Jeffrey Wilson, Edmonds, and Bolden because Alec Collins went out. So that's my running backs. I'm stuck for the playoff run because Swift is battling injuries.
So I'll be wishing like some of my players are just gonna magically come off the IR list, like we're gonna get a magical notification. But like,
look, Gabe needs me.
That shit's so crazy. Like, and literally in like Legends, is not. I don't even have no choice. There's nothing I can do. Literally, that shit is crazy. It's really disgusting. Shout out to COVID and shout out to the fantasy guys for all the injuries this year. You got anything else for that game?
That's it, my boy.
On to the next one. We got one of the Tuesday matchups, Seattle at the Rams. Rams 4-point favorites with an over-under 45.5. Seattle got Russell Wilson over there. I expect him to start. He's been okay as of late, not dominant rush that you expect or that you drafted him for, but he has had multiple touchdown games in the last 3 games, and he's only threw over 35 times once in those 3 games. So he has to be super efficient, but good thing about Russell Westbrook is he's always been super efficient to be effective. But this week he does play the Rams, who are vulnerable because of that COVID thing, but with the game being moved to Tuesday, they could get a lot of players back.
I don't think I'm starting him, bro.
I don't know. He's let a lot of people down in the playoffs.
If it was anybody but the Rams, they got too many problems. And they O-line is not it, bro. I just don't. That's not the week. I mean, I still think Russ will do something, but bro, you got to start him if you on your team and you made the playoffs, probably. So just temper expectations.
It's not like, but unless you're on one quarterback, please, you probably have better options on the bench. Like, would you start Jimmy G or Russell Wilson?
Oh, they play the Falcons. Yeah, Jimmy G.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jimmy G or Russell Wilson. Yeah. Carlos don't want to start Russell Wilson either. It's scary, especially on a Tuesday, bro. Like, especially if you wait until Tuesday. Like, that shit sucks.
I mean, like I said, if it was any other team, but bro, their biggest problem is their O-line. They can't block nothing. So
blocking man. You can't block.
Aaron Donald about to be swim move through them.
Rashad Penny, man. So yeah, man, that Russell Wilson thing. If you don't have anybody options, it really just depends on who you have on your waiver wire in 1 QB leagues. But like a Jimmy G, I found him on the waiver wire earlier this week. I had found Justin Fields on the waiver wire earlier this week because I have Lamar Jackson. So both of those guys I like over him. You know what I mean? So it just depends on who you got out there. I wouldn't go like too far, like a Derek Carr far. But you know, it just depends on what the options is. Rashad Penny had a good week last week. He's expected to be the only back in the backfield this week with Alex Collins going out. He could return, just like I said, with that Tuesday thing changed everything. But I still feel like Rashad Penny's done enough to like outplay Alex Collins at this point. 17 touches, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. So it's pretty clear.
Alex Collins out.
Huh? He's out? But I'm saying they moved it Tuesday though. I thought he got.
Oh yeah, true. So I agree with you. Yeah, Penny, the guy that came out and said Penny should get any other opportunity in the world. So it's good. And isn't it? This is fear, right? So he have free agency too, right? No.
Yeah. I think he's a free agent after this year.
He's a first round pick, so they're probably not going to sign that. They
might franchise extra year.
Not franchise tag, bro. If you're a first round pick, you get the team get to agree if they want that extra year. I forgot.
The 5th year option. I think this might be his 5th year option. He might be playing on it.
Nah. Yeah, this is 4th year, so yeah.
He got one. They probably 5th year option him then. The Rams are giving up the 11th fewest fantasy points to the running back position in the last 4 weeks. So you do have to temper your expectations. I don't expect the 137 yards, unless none of these guys come back again.
Time out. I guess one of us said we wouldn't start Russell Westbrook, and you brought up the comment instead. It said, "Yeah, Carlos wouldn't start Russell Westbrook." And I just reread the comment. I just noticed, like, wait, we did not catch that. I don't know if I said Russell Westbrook or you, but we was talking about Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell. I wouldn't start him either. Shit.
All right, my bad, bro. You was talking about I don't even know what you was talking about.
I was just saying that he's gonna get the volume as an RB1, but you got to temper your expectation just because it is the Rams. DK Metcalf, of course, with Tyler Lockett being out, his ceiling is to the roof. But not really, because if Jalen Ramsey comes back, then it's lockdown city over there for him. But the volume he should get if Tyler Lockett is not there should keep him through the roof. He has seen at least 8 targets in the last 4 out of his 5 games, so it's not like he hasn't been getting a target. It's just that he hasn't found the end zone, and you just got to cross your fingers at this point because you're not sitting him if he's playing. So even if it's a Tuesday.
Facts. You gotta take whatever you can get from DK.
Just keep your ears to the street like Sunday. Oh man.
And or Penny, I like Penny over like Reynolds. It's a couple running back situations, so you probably starting Penny.
I like Penny over a lot of running back situations this week. A fringe play I got for Seattle is Gerald Everett. He found the end zone last week. Only saw 2 targets. And that's the fewest he's seen since week 10. If Lockett remains out, I think the volume should be there for him to be a consistent tight end play. But even if the Lockett does play, I think the Rams it should be to get him through. Average around 5-6 targets a game. The Rams have allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points to the tight end over the last 4 weeks and only 1 touchdown. It really just depends on who's healthy at this point. It's the battle of the health.
I just wouldn't force it.
No, yeah. On the other side of the ball, we got Matt Stafford, of course, Cooper Kupp, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's an every week starter now. If he plays, he already tested negative once, so I think he just has to do it one more time. He scored a touchdown in each of the last 3 weeks. He's getting around the wide receiver 2 amount of targets, 22 targets in the last 3 games, and he has a decent matchup this week. A fringe play, we talked about Van Jefferson a little bit earlier. He saw the fewest targets he's seen all last year, and I think that was Odell's biggest target game, so that's kind of scary. But he still found the end zone, and he's found the end zone now in the last 3 games. He's averaging 7 targets a game before that last bad game, so that PPR still in the safe. Hopefully that was just a one-off week, but
and I don't think, and they played Arizona last week, and they didn't really have to pass much in that game.
They passed the ball. They scored a lot of points. I think the defense was a better matchup. The Seattle matchup is an easier matchup. So if OBJ doesn't play, of course you start him. But I think even with OBJ playing, you can feel comfortable starting. Not comfortable, but I think I'm still starting him. So how do you feel about him?
OBJ? Yeah, I'm starting OBJ in the flex. I feel comfortable starting.
No, not OBJ. I'm talking about Van Jefferson.
I feel starting playing Van Jefferson.
I don't know what kind of internet. There you
go. Yeah, I'm fine with playing Van Jefferson. Like I said last week, the game was kind of lopsided early. Arizona came back at the end late, but the Rams got up a lot and they didn't really have to do much. Going through the ball 30 times. It's still not working. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it looked like it kept saying he was muting me or something. So yeah, I like Van Jefferson, Matthew Stafford. May have to throw the ball a little bit more this week, and Van Jefferson, they're looking out for him on big plays. So yeah, I think you can put him in the flex. Him and OBJ, you can put him in the flex.
Then, did we ever find out what about Darrell Henderson? Is he on the IR or what?
No, he's not on the IR, bro.
He's on the COVID list?
He's on the COVID list, and he got ongoing related issues. Well, not ongoing related issues, but he just haven't came out the COVID list. I don't know if he's still, feeling.
He was hurt before he got COVID, though.
Yeah. But they just saying he's on COVID list, and until he's cleared, he can't play. So you just got to keep your ear out on that.
Let's see. Let me see. I think that's all I got from that game. If Tyler Higbee play, I also like Tyler Higbee. You can start Tyler Higbee.
And in the running back situation, you say you start Sony?
Yeah. Of course, if Darrell Henderson doesn't play, I'm sorry, Sony. Sony looked good in his relief roles. I don't think I'm going to win my bet, but he's still been looking good. I like.
It looked like your internet went out, my boy. Or is it mine? Well, I think we're having technical difficulties with my boy Gage.
Oh, I think I had one out right there. That was me. Maybe it was me. My bad.
Yeah, you went out. All right, you back. Now we're done with that. We on to the next game.
Yeah, on to the next game. My bad, guys. On to the next game. We got Sunday Night Football. We got the New Orleans Saints at the 10.5-point favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 46.5 points.
Obvious starts in that way.
Start Tom Brady. Of course, you start Mike Evans. Of course, you start Leonard Fournette. Now that Leonard Fournette did practice today, so he should be healthy. He should be ready to go. Did I miss anybody?
Rob Gronkowski and Chris Godwin. So you basically starting everybody.
You're starting everybody on Tampa Bay.
Until or if AB returns, you starting everybody on this offense. The receive besides Ronald Jones, all the receiving options you starting them. They eating right now, and it's not the best matchup against New Orleans, but they are one of the best offenses in the league, and they should get up on this team and just go to town, hopefully. But yeah, so you starting everybody on that side, and on the other side, man, it's just the obvious starts is Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. Taysom Hill looks shaky in the passing game, but it's hard to sit him with that rushing ability. And the screen game is crazy, so he can drop a screen off to Kamara at any moment, and Kamara can take it to the house. So I like the obvious start in Taysom Hill, and that's pretty much it from that side. You sit Mark Ingram because Alvin Kamara is playing. He's not really getting much usage with Alvin Kamara back. He got 10 carries last week, but he averaged around 2.8 yards per carry. So I don't feel confident about him going up against one of the top run defenses in the league.
So it's really not. I mean, it's pretty clear cut right there. On to Monday Night Football. I've been waiting. That's not even it. Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. I gotta figure it out. I keep forgetting that shit. 5.5-point favorite Minnesota at Chicago, 44.5 point over under. We got Justin Fields, man. He's looking like he might be a playoff winner. Winner starting cornerback. How you feel about Justin Fields this week?
Well, in the last 6 games, Phil has averaged 8 carries for 54 yards per game. That's the reason why he's producing more fantasy points right there. That rushing floor. He has averaged 1 passing touchdown through that span as well, including that Doug game where he got hurt. So the Vikings are allowing the 3rd most points to quarterback. He is a start in all quarterback 2 leagues and a French starting quarterback 1 leagues. So yeah, I think matter of fact, he started in quarterback 1 leagues. I would probably start him over Burrow.
Yeah, I'm starting him over Teddy Bridgewater this week.
Of course.
It's the first time, yeah.
I start. My bad. I start Kirk Cousins. I had a brain fart. I start Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields in this game over Burrow. Burrow's still gonna eat the offense run through him, but just saying.
David Montgomery, you can't beat that.
Right. David Montgomery has caught 14 passes in the last 2 games. This is giving him a safe floor, which is key And he has an easy schedule down the stretch. He has an opportunity to finish quarterback 1 each week in this playoffs like he did last year. So this is good for Dave Montgomery owners. The Vikings are allowing the 14 most points to running backs. So start Monty. He gets the volume and he should eat. Darnell Mooney. The targets have been declining since the last 2 weeks, but he's a big part of this offense and could bounce back any week. And this week could and should be the week for him, as the Vikes are allowing the most points to wide receivers. So start him in the flex everywhere. You say Robinson is not practicing? Nevertheless, I have him as a desperate flex play anyway. Now on to the other side of the football, my boy Kirk, who's been cooking all year, man. He has thrown 2 or more passing TDs in 6 straight games, and the Bears are allowing the eighth most points to quarterbacks. So he's a start everywhere. Cooked the Steelers last week and finished as the running back number 1. So you're starting him. Justin Jefferson has been going crazy. Start that stud. Before getting hurt, Thielen scored a touchdown in 5 of his last 6 games, but it's doubtful that he's going to play Monday. So KJ is a start with Thielen out. The Bears are middle in the pack, 2 wide receivers, but they haven't been giving up big plays all year. So find a way to put KJ in the lineup because he may get another big play like he did last week. Tyler Conklin didn't do much last week with Thielen out and probably won't do much this week as the Bears are allowing the fourth fewest points to tight ends. So, yes, sit him and find a tight end with a better matchup. And that's a wrap, my boy.
So, how scared are we for Thielen?
I mean, he had the high ankle sprain, and that's what Judy had, right? I'm about to say Jared Judy. But, yeah. Judy. He had the high ankle. And he was out for like 3 weeks. So Thielen, he going on his 2nd week. And that's just everybody's saying they're doubtful. So I know it.
They need to take the points off of Sleeper if he's not gonna play, bro. Just damn. So I don't have to look at it. So when I see points by his name, I'm like, bro, I'm starting. I don't care.
Look, that's just putting that little hope in your heart.
And then I get disappointed every time because he doesn't play. So I'm like, damn, bro, why you had to do me like that?
It'd be like that.
I got one more start sit. Cordell Patterson or Ramondre Stevenson.
They play the Colts too, who are middle of the pack, but they're gonna run. They're gonna run the football. You gotta go with.
That's what I'm saying. Ramondre Stevenson might be. I think Ramondre Stevenson, because they're going against the Rams, and that's Tuesday.
Bro, Cordell, bro.
No, okay. Ramondre Stevenson or Rashad Penny. That's what I meant to say.
Stevenson, yeah, because I'm starting Cordell. He get used in the passing game. Stevenson, may not be the passing back, so he might get out of rushes. Where Cordell is going to get both. So, but yeah. Him over Penny. He has a better matchup than Penny and a better O-line than Penny and a better offense than Penny. So, yeah.
Yeah, and a better, it could go real left for Penny real fast. No, that's the last thing I had, man. You got anything else?
No, I'm good, my boy. Good luck.
Shout out to Travis Kelce for coming through big. Let's see. Shout out to who else? Austin Eckler. Shout out Justin Fields. Shout out Patrick Mahomes for coming back. It looked like he was about to cancel a lot of Christmases. Shout out Keenan Allen. Hopefully we get a lot more players to shout out come next week, and I'm not sad on the episode because if I lose all my playoffs matches, I'm not gonna want to record, but I'm gonna be sad. So
it's all right. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of buys, so I will be playing next week.
Good luck to everybody out there, man. Without further ado, let me find the outro button or whatever it is. Shout out to Carlos.
Shout out Tonio.
Shout out Tonio. Unless I'm playing you. Am I playing Tonio? No, I don't think so. But if I am playing you, no shout out to you. Peace.
Yeah, fantasy. It's session. Yeah, fantasy. It's session. Yeah, fantasy. It's session. Yeah, fantasy.